Want to know why there is no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice.
Who, y'all? Jay-Z's skeletons are shaking again. Carmen Bryan, one of Jay-Z's former mistresses, is back spilling tea. And this time, she's putting him on blast in a way that's got people talking. From her own wild experiences with Hav to rumors about others like Kathy White and Foxy Brown, it's clear Jay's past relationships were anything but clean. With all these women coming forward with stories over the years, you really gotta wonder, how much more is hiding behind the family man image? Jay's a monster? Okay, so let's talk about Jay-Z and his former mistress, Carmen Bryan. You know, Carmen's name might ring a bell because of her connections with both Nas and Jay. Yeah, she's the one who stirred the pot back in the day.
So, you're friends with Jay-Z, and then at one point it turns romantic.
After a year.
After a year.
After about a year and some change, you know, as things change. Yeah.
And this was Jay-Z during which album? I mean, Reasonable Doubt was already out.
This was, okay, Reasonable. I met Jay-Z right after he dropped Reasonable Doubt.
Well, in her memoir, It's No Secret, she really gets into the details of her thing with Jay-Z, and let me tell you, some of it is just off. So, Carmen first met Jay-Z in 1995 when she was still with Nas, and her first impression of him was that he was warm, humble, and funny. Basically, your classic smooth talker. They hit it off right away, and Carmen said she felt like they were going to be long-term friends. But here's where things get weird. One night, after hanging out at a friend's place, Carmen fell asleep on the couch. She literally woke up to Jay-Z kissing her on the lips. Yep, she wakes up, and this man is already in the zone. She says his lips were soft, and she just melted into the kiss. But then she mentions his hands started to roam, and while it didn't go any further that night, the whole waking up to someone kissing you moment, major red flag. Now, here's the thing. Carmen claims it took a whole year before they actually did anything physical. Fast forward to another hangout, and Jay wants to know when are things going to go down. And honestly, that just gives off such a weird vibe. Like, Jay, chill. Carmen told him it would happen when she's ready, and it seems like he backed off for the time being. Eventually, though, things did go down, and Carmen described their first time together as intense. But even then, she felt like she needed to make sure his intentions were good before she let anything happen. Now, here's the bigger picture. Carmen's story just highlights a pattern with Jay-Z that we've seen before. Whether it's the way he pursued her while she was still with Nas, or that whole kissing her while she was asleep thing, there's always been this low-key offbeat vibe to how he operates when it comes to women. And don't forget, Carmen was young, impressionable, and already wrapped up in this crazy hip-hop triangle. What's even crazier is that her story came back up because Carmen recently took shots at Jay in response to some serious allegations against him. Yeah, that whole 13-year-old girl situation. And now, people are starting to connect the dots and wonder if there's something consistently shady about Jay-Z's character. Like, his public image is all polished and perfect now, but these old stories keep popping up, and they don't paint him in the best light. At the end of the day, Carmen's memoir is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. Whether you believe everything she says or not, it definitely makes you think. Jay-Z might be a musical genius and a business mogul, but when it comes to the way he's treated women in the past, yeah, there's some serious room for debate. Carmen has been posting, calling out folks who defend their faves instead of the facts. And she didn't hold back when she quoted his old verse on Kanye's Monster track, where Jay says, "IR and pillage your village, women and children." Now, Jay probably thought he was being lyrical back then, but Carmen is not letting that age well in light of these allegations. And here's where it gets messier. Carmen and Jay had this 9-year affair. Yep, 9, even while she was engaged to Nas. She got pregnant during that time, but sadly miscarried. But what really had her done and disgusted was when Jay-Z released the track Super Ugly. In the song, Jay rapped about smashing Carmen in a Jeep and leaving condoms in her daughter's baby seat. Carmen says that was the moment she lost all respect for him. And can you blame her? Imagine airing out something that foul for the world to hear. He wasn't just going for Nas's neck. He dragged Carmen and her kid into the mess. To make it worse, Nas apparently called her at 3 a.m. like, "Yo, is this song about you?" And she had to admit, yeah, it's true. The rumors, the songs, Nas couldn't ignore it anymore. And honestly, Carmen herself didn't shy away from these details. She even told VLAD TV in 2017 that the pregnancy wasn't planned. But still, this was not some casual fling. It was messy, it was emotional, and it got public.
At one point, you were pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage.
Okay, this is before the whole
This was like
okay.
before all of that.
How far along were you?
I believe I was Definitely less than 3 months. It was the first
Okay. It was
trimester.
still-
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was still early.
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't anything
Okay.
crazy. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna have this baby and, move forward with our. No.
Okay. When you told Jay that you were pregnant, what was his reaction?
I told him after the fact.
Oh, you told him after?
I told him
you
after
miscarried.
the
Okay,
fact.
so he didn't even know.
No, I
Okay.
told him after the fact.
And looking back, this whole situation makes Jay-Z's character seem questionable at best. He was relentless about pursuing Carmen, unapologetic about airing out their personal business, and reckless with how he treated her in the aftermath. The thing is, this isn't an isolated incident when it comes to Jay-Z and how he moves in his relationships. Whether it's how he pursued Beyonce while still holding on to old flames, or his involvement in situations like this resurfaced lawsuit, there's a certain pattern of him wanting what he wants. Consequences be damned. And Carmen, she's clearly not afraid to remind the world of that. Jay's other mistakes. The pattern of mistreatment when it comes to Jay-Z and the women in his life is real. The stories we know, whether they come from mistresses, rumored flings, or public fallout with those who crossed his path, all seem to tell a similar story. Carmen's story is one of the most infamous examples of how Jay mistreated women. Their affair lasted nearly a decade, overlapping with her relationship with Nas, the father of her child. It's bad enough that she was caught in the middle of one of hip-hop's most public beefs, but Jay seemed to take things to a whole other level of disrespect. He used his music as a weapon, airing out details of their personal life. Can you imagine the level of humiliation she must have felt when the world heard those nasty lyrics? Even Carmen admitted this was the moment she lost all respect for him. And let's not forget Is That Your Chick, another song that painted Carmen in a poor light, with Jay-Z and Memphis Bleek rapping about sleeping with another man's woman. These weren't just catchy bars, they were thinly veiled attacks on Carmen's reputation, leaving her to deal with the fallout. Then there's Kathy White. Kat's story has always been shrouded in mystery. She was rumored to have been romantically involved with Jay-Z, even during his marriage to Beyonce. What makes her story even more chilling is the timing of her untimely death. Kathy passed away in 2011, reportedly from a brain aneurysm, but conspiracy theories quickly took over. Some people say her death was suspicious because she threatened to expose details of her relationship with Jay. While there's no solid evidence to back this up, the fact that her name keeps popping up in conversations about Jay-Z's behavior toward women is telling. It speaks to a pattern of secrecy and damage control surrounding the women linked to him. But there's no convo about this topic without talking about Foxy Brown. The rumors about Jay-Z and Foxy Brown go way back, and while both have denied anything inappropriate, it's impossible to ignore how often Foxy's name comes up in conversations about Jay's relationships with women. She was only 15 when she signed with Rockefeller, and while they've both maintained their connection was strictly professional, the hip-hop world has always side-eyed their dynamic. Whether the rumors are true or not, the fact that they even exist shows how much of a reputation Jay-Z has built when it comes to his treatment of women. It's one thing for rumors to swirl around one or two relationships, but when the same kinds of stories keep popping up, it's hard to chalk it up to coincidence. When you step back and look at the broader scope of these stories, it paints a picture of someone who treated women as disposable or as tools for his own gain. Whether it's Carmen's heartbreak, the lingering questions around Kathy White, or the persistent rumors involving Foxy, the common thread is a lack of care or respect for the women involved. Jay-Z's rise to power in the industry has been monumental, but it seems like his relationships with women were collateral damage along the way. And while the media has largely focused on his career and marriage to Beyonce, the stories from these women haven't gone away. Jay-Z's public image is a masterpiece of branding. He's the ultimate success story. A kid from the Marcy Projects who built a billion-dollar empire. He's a businessman, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. As part of hip-hop's ultimate power couple with Beyonce, Jay-Z has positioned himself as a family man and a leader in social justice, supporting causes like prison reform and even bailing out protesters. In interviews, he talks about personal growth, admits to his past infidelity in 444, and promotes therapy and accountability. On paper, Jay-Z is the kind of figure the culture wants to celebrate, someone who overcame adversity, supports his family, and gives back.
The other freedom I see in the album is just a freedom for couples who have gone through something.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. You know, it's almost a cliche, you know, the celebrity couple, you know, they get together, they break up, you know, I'm like, well, who else are they gonna go out with? But for some reason, you took an unprecedented stand to fight for this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to fight for it and to put it all out there. What is it about this marriage that's so special that you would fight this hard to save it?
Well, it's my soulmate. It's the person I love, you know. And you can be in love with someone. You can love someone and and if you haven't experienced love and you don't understand it and you don't have the tools to move forward, then you're gonna have complications.
But the private side of Jay-Z tells a different story. Allegations, lawsuits, and whispers from the women in his past paint a more complicated picture. For example, Jay-Z publicly uplifts women, but there's rumors out there that say he's been quick to use his power against them when it suits him. Also, he's marketed as a devoted family man, but infidelity has been a consistent theme in his story, even with Beyonce standing by his side. The infamous elevator fight with Solange hinted at cracks in the perfect couple image. These contradictions between Jay-Z's public image and private actions are obvious, and they suggest a carefully curated persona that doesn't quite match reality. Something that Jaguar Wright, but not just her, have been saying for a minute now, is that Jay-Z has this ability to control the narrative, and it is unmatched. Unlike other celebrities whose careers have been derailed by scandal, he has consistently redirected attention to his successes. Think of that time when Beyonce released Lemonade and hinted at his infidelity. The story quickly shifted to their reconciliation and her pregnancy announcement. Then, after the elevator fight with Solange, the media frenzy was neutralized by the release of their joint On the Run tour. And even now, with allegations tying him to lawsuits involving Diddy, Jay-Z's camp is working overtime to refocus on protecting his family's privacy. Just the other day, a bunch of people came out saying how the lawsuit is full of half-truths and how it won't stick. This isn't accidental. Jay-Z is more than a rapper. He's a brand. And brands don't survive scandal without meticulous damage control. But why are these stories resurfacing now? Lately, it feels like the floodgates have opened in hip-hop. The lawsuit against Diddy has created a ripple effect, forcing the industry to confront the darker sides of its biggest stars. And Jay-Z, his name is now getting dragged back into the spotlight.
Big deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
It's not just one thing. It's everything at once. Carmen Bryan's memoir, which many thought was old news, is back in circulation, reminding us of the messy details of her relationship with Jay. On top of that, the lawsuit accusing Jay-Z of has raised questions about his past behavior and how much power he's wielded to keep things quiet. But why now? Some speculate that hip-hop fans and insiders are done protecting the untouchables. People are connecting the dots, questioning the carefully controlled narratives, and demanding accountability from the very artists they once idolized. It's also worth noting that in the age of social media, old scandals don't stay buried. A TikTok video, a resurfaced interview, or a trending hashtag can reignite conversations about things that happened decades ago. And Jay-Z, as powerful as he is, isn't immune to that. Now, let's talk about the queen herself, Beyonce. She's been Jay-Z's partner for over 20 years, and their marriage has been marketed as the ultimate power couple relationship. But with every new story about Jay's alleged mistreatment of women, it's impossible not to wonder what Beyonce had to endure behind closed doors. It's also interesting how Beyonce's silence plays into this. She's always been private, especially when it comes to personal matters, but does her quiet support of Jay-Z signal acceptance, or is she simply choosing to keep family matters out of the public eye? And let's not forget her role as a mother. With 3 kids, how does she navigate these ongoing scandals? Jay-Z himself has admitted his fears about how the allegations against him could impact their children, particularly Blue Ivy. It's hard not to admire her strength, but it's also fair to ask, at what cost? Beyonce has built her empire alongside Jay-Z, but how much of that has involved cleaning up after his messes? The resurfacing of these stories isn't just about Jay-Z. It's about a broader reckoning in hip-hop. And Beyonce's involvement adds another layer. As fans, we're left wondering how much more will come out, and if the cracks in this power couple's image will ever truly show. One thing is certain, the recurring theme here is power dynamics. Jay-Z has always been in a position of power, whether as a successful rapper, a businessman, or Beyonce's husband. That power has often shielded him from scrutiny, but the stories of the women he's crossed paths with tell a different story. What do you think? Do these stories reveal who Jay-Z really is behind the scenes, or are they just part of the messy world of fame and relationships? Let us know all about it down below, and before you leave, make sure to check this video out as well.